My wife and best friend have been acting odd, and I'm starting to question my entire marriage. I, 29M, have been married to my wife, Lisa, 27F, for 2 years now. We've been together for a total of 5, and honestly, I've always thought we had a great relationship. We laugh a lot, support each other, and rarely fight about anything major. I truly thought we were solid. Then there's Mike, 29M, my best friend since we were kids. We've been inseparable for as long as I can remember. He's single, works a pretty demanding job, and doesn't have much family around, so he's at our place a lot. Lisa and I are happy to include him in things. Game nights, going out for drinks, hikes, you name it. Lisa even jokes sometimes, calling him our adopted roommate. Mike's been my rock through a lot, and Lisa's always seemed to get along great with him. Maybe too great now that I think about it. Last Friday, I came home from work a little earlier than usual. I didn't tell Lisa because I figured I'd surprise her. She works from home, and usually she's either in her office or lounging in the living room when I get back. This time, though, I walked in quietly and heard her voice coming from the kitchen. She was on the phone, and something about her tone made me pause before announcing myself. I know eavesdropping isn't great, but what I heard stopped me in my tracks. She said, "I know, Mike. Neither of us like lying to him, but he can't find out under any circumstances." I froze. She sounded nervous, guilty. My heart dropped into my stomach. She kept talking, but her voice lowered, and I couldn't catch the rest. A minute later, I heard her say a quick goodbye and then silence. I stayed where I was for a few seconds, trying to process what I'd just heard. When I walked into the kitchen, she jumped a little, like I'd startled her. She quickly smiled and asked why I was home early, all casual-like. I couldn't bring myself to confront her right then, so I just shrugged it off. That night, the phrase, "neither of us like lying to him," kept replaying in my head. What could they be lying to me about? And why would she say, "He can't find out under any circumstances"? My mind went to the worst possible places. Are they having an affair? Is Mike, my best friend, betraying me? I tried to act normal, but I couldn't shake the feeling. Every little interaction between them suddenly seemed suspicious. The way they'd laugh at inside jokes during game nights. How they'd text each other occasionally. Lisa had always said it was about planning stuff for the 3 of us, and I never thought twice about it. But now it felt like a red flag. That same night after Lisa fell asleep, I did something I'm not proud of. I went through her phone. I didn't find anything. No texts from Mike. No call history with him. Nothing. It was too clean. Lisa isn't the kind of person to delete her messages. Her inbox is usually cluttered with random chats and unread emails. So why was there nothing from Mike? That felt like confirmation that something was off. Why else would she delete their conversations unless she was hiding something? Over the past few days, I've been spiraling. I can't look at either of them the same way. Mike came over last night to play PlayStation, and I could barely concentrate. Every time he laughed or said something to Lisa, my blood boiled. Lisa, on the other hand, has been acting totally normal. Too normal, even. It's like she has no idea I overheard her. Or maybe she's just a really good liar. I've thought about confronting them, but I don't know how. What if I'm wrong? What if there's an innocent explanation, and I blow up my marriage and my friendship over nothing? But at the same time, what if I'm right? What if they're sneaking around behind my back? Am I overthinking this? Is there a chance I'm jumping to conclusions, and this could be about something else entirely? If I do confront them, how should I do it? Together? Separately? Is there a way to find out more without tipping them off? I feel like I'm losing my mind. Any advice would be appreciated. Edit 1. For those asking about Mike's recent behavior, he's been acting pretty much the same. Friendly, laid back, no obvious red flags. If anything, Lisa seems more nervous around me lately, but I don't know if I'm imagining it. Edit 2. I want to be clear. I'm not looking to immediately blow things up. I just want the truth. Whatever it is, I feel like I deserve to know. Update. Over the next week, Lisa started acting more secretive. She's always been pretty laid back about her phone, leaving it around the house or on the counter while charging. But now, she keeps it on her at all times. She's checking it constantly, and once, when I glanced over as she was texting, she tilted the screen away from me. She's also been taking more frequent errands. Normally, she doesn't leave the house much during the day since she works from home. But 3 times last week, she said she needed to run out for random reasons: groceries, a coffee, mailing a package. Each time, she was gone longer than she needed to be. I decided to check our bank account, just to see if there were any odd transactions. What I found was unsettling. There were multiple cash withdrawals over the past month, each for $100 or $200. Lisa and I usually use our cards for everything, so it's weird for her to be withdrawing cash. What's she spending it on? And why wouldn't she tell me about it? Then came the breaking point. Last Wednesday, I called Lisa during my lunch break. She was supposed to be working on a project from home, but the background noise didn't match up. I could hear traffic, wind, and faint voices like she was outside. When I asked where she was, she sounded flustered. She said she'd stepped out to grab something from the store but didn't elaborate. Right before she hung up, I swear I heard Mike's voice in the background. I can't be 100% sure, it was faint, but it sounded exactly like him. When I got home that evening, I decided to confront her. I asked her where she'd been earlier, and she brushed it off, saying she ran into Mike by chance while she was out, and they caught up for a few minutes. That explanation didn't sit right with me. Mike lives on the other side of town, nowhere near the store she claimed she went to. I couldn't help myself. I asked her point blank if something was going on between her and Mike. Her reaction? She laughed. She actually laughed and said, "Of course not, don't be ridiculous." Then she brushed it off again, saying I was overthinking things. Am I overreacting? Is this all just one big coincidence? Or am I picking up on something real? Should I confront Mike directly? If Lisa's lying, I don't know if I can trust what he'd say either. What do I even do at this point? How do I get to the truth without wrecking everything? Any advice would mean the world right now. I feel like my marriage and my friendship are hanging by a thread. Update. Hey Reddit. I wish I could say things have gotten better since my last post, but they've only gotten worse. I can barely focus at work, and at home it's like I'm living with a stranger. Things have escalated and I need some serious advice. I don't know what to do anymore. I've been trying to play it cool, like everything is fine, but deep down I know something is horribly wrong. And with each passing day, the more I realize that I'm not overreacting. Something is going on between Lisa and Mike. It started with small, unsettling things. The way Lisa was more protective of her phone, the fact that she seemed to be sneaking around with it all the time. She'd scroll through her messages when she thought I wasn't looking, and I could feel her tension whenever Mike's name came up in conversation. But lately, things have been getting even more obvious. Lisa is still sweet with me, cuddling on the couch, kissing me goodbye before work, telling me she loves me. And yet, there's this strange distance between us, like she's hiding something. It's like I'm living with a woman who is both affectionate and distant at the same time. I can't explain it. She's still loving, but everything feels so guarded. She's also been more secretive about her whereabouts. The other day I called her during lunch just to check in. She was supposed to be at home working, but when I asked her what she was doing, she said she'd just stepped out to pick up something for lunch. She was being vague, almost like she didn't want to tell me where she was. I asked her if everything was okay, and she just smiled and said, "Yeah, just working and taking a break. Nothing to worry about." But when she came home an hour later, I saw that she'd changed clothes. She was wearing something totally different, like she had gone somewhere else and didn't want me to know. And then came the big one. The other day after work, I decided to stop by a coffee shop near our house to get a drink. As I pulled up to the parking lot, I saw Lisa's car. My heart started racing. I wasn't supposed to meet her there, but there she was, inside, sitting at a table with Mike. I could see that they were laughing and talking closely. I stayed hidden, my heart pounding in my chest. When she came home, I didn't say anything about seeing her with Mike. Instead, I casually asked, "Oh, how was your day? You look like you had a good time. Did you and Mike hang out?" Her eyes widened just for a second before she quickly smiled and said, "Oh, we ran into each other at the store. It was a coincidence. We just talked for a minute. Nothing serious." But the way she said it, like she was covering something up, made my stomach turn. I'm not stupid. Something's going on and I know it. I decided to dig deeper. I checked our joint bank account, looking for any more suspicious transactions. I found something that made my blood run cold. Lisa had withdrawn large amounts of cash several times in the past month, amounts that didn't make sense. I tried asking her about it casually. I said, "Hey, I noticed some withdrawals on the account. Everything okay? Are you buying something special?" She gave me a vague answer. "Oh, just stuff for the house. You know, little things here and there." But I couldn't shake the feeling that she was hiding something. What could she possibly need so much cash for? And why wouldn't she just use her card like we always do? A few nights ago, things came to a head. I'd had enough. I couldn't keep pretending that nothing was wrong. So after dinner, when we were sitting on the couch together, I asked her flat out, "Lisa, is there something going on between you and Mike?" She froze. Her face went pale for a split second, barely noticeable, but I saw it. She took a deep breath, as if trying to collect her thoughts before responding. "No, of course not. What are you talking about?" she said, laughing it off. "You're being paranoid. Mike is just a friend and you know that." I wanted to believe her. I really did. But everything in my gut told me that I wasn't wrong. Something wasn't adding up. I told her I wasn't accusing her of anything, but I needed her to be honest with me. I explained how I had been feeling, how I'd seen the signs. She was quiet for a moment, then smiled sweetly, like nothing had happened. "I'm just tired, that's all. I don't know why you're so upset. You're overthinking this, baby. There's nothing going on." She then kissed me on the cheek and hugged me, trying to brush it off like everything was fine, but I could tell it was forced. She's been doing that a lot lately, acting like nothing is wrong, while I feel like the walls are closing in. The next few days, things felt off. Lisa was still affectionate, still sweet and loving, but now it was like she was trying too hard, like she was overcompensating. She'd bring me coffee in the morning, tell me how much she loved me, but she wouldn't let me get close to her phone. Every time I walked by her while she was texting, she'd quickly lock her screen or hide it. I caught her deleting messages once, but when I asked her about it, she just shrugged and said, "It was nothing. Just cleaning up my inbox." I don't know why, but that felt like the biggest red flag yet. Why was she hiding her phone from me so much? Why would she be deleting messages, especially if they were innocent? If there was nothing going on, why go through the trouble? Then last night I snuck into her phone while she was asleep. I know it's wrong, but I couldn't help it. I needed answers. I looked through her messages with Mike, but everything was deleted again. The whole conversation history was gone. But I found something else, an unsent message to Mike. Just one sentence, sitting in her drafts. "We need to be more careful. My husband is starting to get suspicious." When I saw that, my heart sank. I was right all along. Now, I'm sure. I know in my gut that Lisa and Mike are having an affair. They've been lying to me, keeping secrets, and I've let it go on for too long. The more I think about it, the more I realize that this isn't just a couple of misunderstandings or coincidences. This is betrayal, and I've been blind to it. Don't know what to do next. Do I confront Lisa again, armed with everything I've discovered, or do I talk to Mike first? Either way, I'm not sure how I'm going to move forward. I never thought I'd be in this situation. My best friend, the person I trusted more than anyone, and my wife, both of them are hiding something from me. And now I have to face it. I feel like my whole life is falling apart, and I'm struggling to hold on. Update. Hey Reddit, it's me again. I don't even know how to start this post. A lot has happened in the past week and I still can't quite process it all. I've been sitting on this update, trying to figure out how to share everything that's happened since I last posted. But honestly, I'm still in a bit of shock. A week ago, it was my 30th birthday. To be honest, I wasn't expecting much. The last few weeks have been such a whirlwind of doubts, suspicions, and gut-wrenching feelings that I figured it would just be another ordinary day. I didn't think Lisa would do anything special, not with everything that's been going on. But when I woke up that morning, Lisa was already awake, sitting on the edge of the bed with a soft smile on her face. She leaned over, kissed me on the cheek, and with a gentle voice said, "Happy birthday, my love." It was sweet, and for a moment, it felt like everything was normal again. Then she did something I wasn't expecting. She told me she was going to run some errands in the city, but that we had plans later. She apologized for being distant recently and said that she was going to make it up to me. She mentioned that she'd made reservations at the Chinese restaurant on Autumn Street, the one I've always wanted to visit but never seemed to have the time for. She said, "I know how much you've wanted to go there, so I thought I'd take you. Let's make it a special night." It felt weirdly out of character, but I didn't think too much of it at the time. Maybe she really was just trying to make things right. After all, she had been acting a little off, but perhaps this was her way of apologizing. She told me she'd call me when she was done with her errands and then we'd meet up. Hours passed. I tried to shake off the feeling that something wasn't quite right, but my mind kept drifting back to all the signs I'd seen: Lisa's secretive behavior, the deleted messages, the money withdrawals. I had tried to let it go, but it lingered in the back of my mind. Still, I didn't want to ruin the day with my suspicions, so I pushed them aside. Then, Lisa called me, saying she was ready. I got in my car and headed to the restaurant, wondering what kind of surprise she had planned. When I walked in, I was immediately taken aback. The restaurant was completely decorated. There were balloons everywhere, and the walls were covered with colorful streamers and banners. It was nothing like the quiet, cozy place I'd expected. The place felt alive, buzzing with energy. The tables were arranged for a party, and there was a long table set up with a huge cake in the center. The smell of delicious food filled the air, and the sound of laughter and chatter made the place feel festive. I stood there for a moment, not sure what to think. This is unexpected. I looked around, trying to process what was happening. But before I could make sense of it, I heard a voice shout, "Surprise!" And suddenly, all of my friends burst out from behind the decorations. They were all there, everyone who mattered to me. Lisa walked up to me, smiling with excitement, and said, "I rented the entire restaurant for your birthday. I know how much you love birthdays and how important this milestone is for you. I wanted everything to be perfect, especially because it's your 30th. I wanted you to feel special today." Lisa handed me an envelope with a grin, and when I opened it, I found 2 tickets to the Maldives. It was an all-inclusive, one-week trip. I was speechless. I had always dreamed of going there, and Lisa knew it. She had arranged the entire thing, and Mike had been the one to help her with all the details, as he's the one who loves planning big surprises. Lisa could see the shock on my face, and she immediately took my hands in hers. "I know I've been distant lately, and I'm sorry for that," she said. "I didn't mean to make you feel like I was hiding something. Mike helped me plan all of this because he's really good at organizing things, and I didn't want to spoil the surprise. We've planning this for weeks. I know it's been a little weird with all the secretive messages and the money, but I swear it was all for this, for you. I just wanted your birthday to be perfect, and I didn't want you to find out too soon, even if lying to you was killing me." I stood there, processing everything. My emotions were all over the place: relief, confusion, and honestly, a little embarrassment. I had spent the last few weeks convinced that something was going on between Lisa and Mike. And here I was, standing in the middle of a surprise party that they had orchestrated together. Lisa apologized again for not being more transparent. "I've been so caught up in planning everything that I didn't realize how distant I seemed. I'm so sorry for that. I didn't mean for you to feel like I was hiding something from you." Mike is just a good friend, and he's always been there for me. But I promise you, there's nothing going on between us. Everything I've been doing for you. I could feel the weight lifting off my chest. The anger and confusion I'd been carrying around for weeks began to dissipate. All the signs, the hidden messages, the late-night phone calls, all of it made sense now. She hadn't been lying to me, not in the way I thought. She hadn't been having an affair. She had been planning the best birthday surprise of my life. I took a deep breath and smiled. You really got me, Lisa. I thought I'd lost you. I was convinced something was going on with Mike, but I see now that I was just overthinking everything. Lisa gave me a tender smile. I know, baby. I understand why you felt that way. I should have been more open with you. I was so focused on making everything perfect for you that I didn't realize how it would look from your side. We hugged, and I could feel the weight of the past week lifting from both of us. It wasn't that I'd been wrong to feel suspicious, but it had all been a misunderstanding. I had let my fears get the best of me, and Lisa had been there all along, working hard to show me how much she cared. Now, as I sit here thinking about everything that's happened, I'm amazed at how quickly things turned around. My 30th birthday turned out to be one of the most memorable days of my life. It wasn't just because of the party or the trip. It was because it made me realize how much Lisa truly loves me. She had been planning something so special, and in my paranoia, I'd almost ruined it all. So, to everyone who gave me advice and told me to stay calm and trust her, I'm sorry I didn't listen sooner. Sometimes our minds can play tricks on us, and we forget to see the good things that are right in front of us. Mike and Lisa have always been my friends, and I've learned that sometimes trust is built on patience and understanding. Thank you, Reddit, for your support through all of this. I'm looking forward to what comes next, and I'm grateful for everything that's happened, even the hard parts.